Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another edition of Tuesday Transformation Tidbits, where we're stirring your faith, sharpening your focus, and we're shifting you into the next year. And this year of 2026, we've been dealing with just getting it done. And that has been our overall theme for this entire year. So we've been dealing with the next dimension of where God is sending us or where God has landed us and 2026 because we need to be expanded and we need to be influencing and we need to be impacting others. So far in this particular series, week one, we talked about kingdom influence. What are you carrying? It was not about your attentions, but it was about the responsibility that the Father has given you for 2026. Week two was last week. We came back and we talked about integrity. We said integrity was the foundation of expansion. It was what you are building on. It is the foundation about sustainable expansion. We are being expanded in 2026. I don't know about you. In order for you to get it done, the Father has to expand you because He wants to expand your influence so that your influence will have an impact for the kingdom. We're here back in week three, and we're talking about redeem the impact. We're talking about what is your life producing in the life of others. When you leave a room, what is the impact that you have left in that room after you have exited the room? Because we understand that true kingdom expansion is not measured by what we are gaining, but really what it's measured by is what we are giving to others, what we have accomplished, or what God is accomplishing through us. So on today, we're just coming back and we're talking about redeeming your impact. What is your life producing in other people? When you leave a room or when you leave an atmosphere, what have you left in that atmosphere that's going to leave an impact in the atmosphere, but leave an impact upon the people? So, as always, what we do is we pattern by what we say by the word of God. So, this morning, John 15 and 16, it has something to tell us. And it says, but God, you did not choose me. He says, but I've chose you, and I have appointed you so that you might go forth and bear fruit. And he said, and your fruit will last. Simply, when we really look at what it's saying in the scripture in John, it says, I chose you to live a life that's going to produce lasting impact. So that is the life that we're living for this kingdom, because we're ambassadors of the kingdom, and we have to choose to live a life that's going to produce lasting impact. I want you to think for a moment, what impact have you had on other people? When you left a room, what have you left in the room that has impacted the people that were in the room? As a matter of fact, let's go a bit further. What have you left in the room that has transformed that atmosphere because you were in a room? You see, God does not expand you just for you to increase, but He expands you for you to increase your reach to other people. How are you increasing the reach that you have on other people? What is your impact in this world? What is your impact for the kingdom? See, this year that we're in, that God is calling us to get it done. He wants us to get it done, but He wants us to be expanded. He wants us to be influenced for the kingdom's sake. And He wants us to leave a lasting impact for His kingdom upon the people who don't even understand or who don't even realize who God is. We got hurting people in the world. We have people that are walking around looking for advice, looking for hope, needing love, needing joy. And the Father is saying, I have deposited that inside of you, and I have given you all the nuggets that you need in order for you to leave an impact about my kingdom upon other people. He said, expansion is always not visible alone, but it's about a responsibility. And your responsibility in 2026 is to leave a lasting impact upon the lives of the people that you come in contact. You see, in this next dimension, it's just not how far your voice is going to travel, but it's how deep your life has transformed somebody else. So think for a moment. How have you transformed someone else's life? Because true measurement of growth is not what you have gained, but really is about what others have received through you. What have someone received because they have become connected with you or because they have come into your atmosphere? What jewels, what diamonds, what information, what tidbits have you left upon someone else's life? You see, God never intended influence to stop with us, but everything He pours into our life is designed to flow through your life into someone else's life. You see, in the kingdom, influence is just not about your position. When we look into in the kingdom, integrity is not about your personal character. And expansion is not just about personal growth, but it is about impact. One of my tidbits that I want to drop on you this morning is I want you to be cautious of the impact that you're having on other people. You see, when we look at it, the greatest evidence of transformation is really not about what happens to you, but it begins with what happens through you. See, the Father wants to use you. Your influence is going to reach farther than whatever your presence will ever be. The influence that you have on people is going to travel further than what you'll ever travel, than what your presence would ever travel. Let me give you an example. If you are on any social media platform, rather you're preaching, rather you're teaching, rather you're engaging on conversation, you have to realize that the influence that is coming out your mouth is going to impact people in distances that you will never literally travel. But because social media is worldwide, the things that you say out of your mouth, the words that proceed out of your mouth is going to have an impact. You never know how far your words, your presence, your character, your demeanor have reached people or have touched people's life. You need a kind word can change a day. You know, your testimony can restore hope to somebody else. A prayer that you pray on social media can strengthen someone in their season of weakness. A decision to obey God can cause or create a ripple effect that will impact generations. How many people are you impacted? Kingdom influence is never just about me. It's never just about you. But God blesses us so that we become a blessing to someone else. We got to realize the impact that we're having on other people. And we've got to be cautious of how we say our words. As I often say, words have meaning. And once you put a word out there, it is hard to go back and retract what you say because that word that has proceeded out your mouth has reached the destination of someone. And it has impact and influenced them in some way. So we got to be cognizant of the words that are proceeding out of our mouth, of the character traits that we are displaying when we're in presence, when we're around people, when we are influencing people, because that influence that you have on that person will impact their life. When we look at what does it mean to redeem impact? Redeem impact occurs when God uses your life. It occurs when He uses your experience, when He uses your growth, when He uses your testimony. Because what will it do? It will bring healing to people. It will bring hope to people. It will bring restoration to people. It will encourage someone else. It is the evidence that, God has turned your pain into purpose, and He has given your story the source of strength for someone else. What you went through is a testimony for someone else's healing, for someone else to grab a hold of those words, those tidbits, that testimony that you created, your life, your experience, to hold on to in their time of need. So when we talk about redeeming or redemptive impact, it's restore what was broken. It's encourage those who are disencouraged. It's strengthening those who are weak. It's inspiring those who have lost hope, and it's pointing people back to God. When we're making disciples of people that are in our atmosphere, people that we're talking to, our greatest thing is to point them back to God. As we're building the kingdom, we're not building the kingdom for us to get notoriety, but we're building the kingdom for God to be in priority one. We're building the kingdom so that people can understand and see the great God that we serve. We're building to keep the kingdom to have transformation influence upon someone else. We're carrying an impact upon us so that we can deliver it to someone else. I want to encourage somebody on this morning. Don't stop telling your testimony. Don't stop sharing your experience, because your experience in your testimony is the growth that someone needs. It's the hope that someone needs. It's the restoration that someone needs. It's the encouragement that someone needs. We've got to restore the brokenness that's in people. We've got to encourage the disencouraged, and we've got to strengthen those who are weak. It is our job to impact others. So come on, before I end, I want to tell you some signs of redemptive impact. When you look at signs, your healing helps others to get healed. I don't know about you, but sometimes the healing that we go through, it helps others to get healed. And sometimes you can't always share your healing when you go through it, because you may not have the right words when you're hurt and trying to be healed to say. But God will grant you an opportunity to share the things that you have gone through, the healing that you have received, so that you can help others. He uses areas in our life so that we can restore others and bring them to a restoration state. I don't know about you, but the scars that I have has become proof in my life that God is faithful. That God loves me, that God understands that He can mend the broken heart, and He can bind up the very pieces of my heart and put it back together again, so that someone else, when they come in contact with me, when they hear my testimony, it can become a roadmap for someone else's breakthrough. Another thing, your growth, it benefits more than just you. Your growth is kingdom growth, and it never is selfish when it's kingdom growth. When you're growing in God, and when you're building the kingdom, you're not selfish with the things that you're going through, but you're ready to share. You're apt to share, to help someone else along the way. You see, when God matures you, others should see the benefits, others should reap, or others should have the impact of the benefits of your wisdom, of your compassion, and of your leadership. When we look at healthy growth, it creates a healthy environment. So when God has healed you, when God has given you growth, He's giving you growth to create a healthy environment, not only around you, but when people enter into your environment after you have been healed, you're no longer infected with poison. Now you're infected with the medicine to cause the poison to evaporate. You see, when we look at growth, it's a benefit from the Father that we can give to other people. Another sign of redemptive impact is that your presence brings light. I don't know about you, but when you walk into an atmosphere of darkness, when you know that you have impact, your presence is going to bring light. It's something about when light comes in the midst of darkness, darkness evaporates, and now light is shown in that place. Every room that you enter should be better because you were there. I'm going to say that again. Every room that you have entered should be better because you're there. Why? Because you're bringing the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords into that room. Redemptive people carry encouragement. They carry peace. They carry wisdom, and they carry hope. They don't simply just occupy space, but they influence people. I don't know about you, but when I enter into a room, I'm not entering into that room just to occupy space in that room, but I'm entering into that room because I'm an ambassador for the King. I'm entering into that room because I want the presence of God to enter into the room. I'm entering into that room to bring light into that room. I'm entering into that room to carry the encouragement, to carry the peace, to carry the wisdom, to carry the hope, the joy that the Father has given me, has planted inside of that room. I'm entering into that room because I am a child of the light. And the light of God not only shines in me, but it creates an atmosphere that will draw people to me. So my presence, it brings light. My life reflects God's character. It is the greatest impact that's going to impress people. When my life reflects God's character, they see a sense of me from the Father. They see me as being part of his children. They see me as being someone that's representing who he is. The greatest impact is not impressing people, but it's revealing Christ to other people. You see, when people encounter your life, they should see evidence of God's grace. When they encounter your life, they should see evidence of God's love, God's mercy, and God's truth in you. You should not be the one who is the ambassador of God, and you're creating chaos in the atmosphere. If it is, you want to check yourself. You want to check the type of impact that you're having on other people. So when we see signs of impact, your healing helps other people. Your growth benefits more than just you. Your presence brings light into the atmosphere, and your life reflects God's character. This is the type of impact that we want to have on other people. So what determines your impact? Your obedience to God determines your impact. This is the year that we're getting it done. So this is the year that we have to be obedient. Impact flows when our yes is to God, even when it's uncomfortable, even when there's delays. But our yes says, God, I'm being obedient to you. Your availability. God uses those who are willing, not just those who are capable. And that's something that is so enriched. God is using those who are willing and not those who are capable. When you're capable, you're not relying upon the Father, you have a sense of, I can do this. I have arrived. But when you're leaning upon the Father, there is a humble sense that you have. God, it's not about me, because in me, I don't have the capability to do it. But because I'm presenting myself available unto you, asking you to use me, to give me the tools that I need, the strategize in me what I need in order to leave an impact in the place of God. It's about you being authentic. I've got to be my authentic self. And that's something that I am coming so real into in 2026. Who I am is who I am. I've got to be the authentic self that God has called me to be, because he has equipped me to be who I am to leave an impact upon people. I can't be like Lorraine. I can't be like Chef Mara. I can't be like Nanetta. I can't be like anyone else that's on the line. I can't be like these other mighty women of God. But I have to be who I am, because God has given an audience for the authentic person that I am, so that I can help those in my reach. See, I've got to be transparent when I give others permission to grow. Because if I'm not transparent in the things that I've gone through, those people who are attached to me don't have permission to grow. And then I have to be consistent in what I do. Lasting impact is built in moments, but in patterns, showing up again and again, creates transformation over time. So my lasting impact is not going to be built in the moment, but it's going to be built in my consistency. Me showing up, me doing it over and over again, because it becomes a pattern that someone can run. So when we're walking with redemptive impact, we want people to grow because of our presence. We want lives to be strengthened through our words and through our action. We want our influence to point people back to God, not to just us. And we want to build in others continuance consistently, even when I'm not there. I want my presence to be impacted upon you so much towards the Father until you do because you do, not because of me. Family, friends, those who are listening on this morning and those who are going to come back and listen to the replay in this next dimension, God's just not calling us to increase our platform. He's expanding our purpose because you're not called just to be seen. You're called to make a difference. Don't measure your life by attentions, but measure your life by the transformation power that the Father has given you to transform life. Ask yourself, what is better because I showed up? What is changing because I said yes to whatever the Father has given for me to get done in 2026? Because at the end of it all, impact is the evidence that your expansion really has purpose. Impact requires endurance. When you're impacting someone's life, you got to be consistent. You got to endure. Next week, family, next week, friends, next week, loved ones, we're coming back, and this is the last week of this particular series, the next dimension, expansion, influence, and impact. Next week, we're going to be coming back, and we're going to be talking about divine capacity, what God strengthens you to sustain. We've got to sustain the strength that the Father has given us. People are waiting for our impact. So the question becomes today, what is better because I showed up? What is changing because I said yes? What impact have I left in the room after I have left the room? What is it that I've shown people who see me each and every day? How is it that I can help people along the way? You see, in my closing, I want to say that many people measure impact by titles, by followers, by position, by platforms, and by accomplishment. But kingdom impact is measured by making a difference. God measures impact by the lives that are transformed because we showed up, the hearts that we encouraged because we spoke, the people that we have moved closer to their purpose because we have walked in their life. When we looked at redemptive impact, it happens when God uses our story, when God uses our obedience, when God uses our character, when He even uses our struggles to produce something that's life-giving for someone else's life. Remember, kingdom impact is measured by the difference that you make, not by your title, not by your followers, not by your likes, not by your position or your accomplishment. But God measures impact by your life, by the lives rather that you have transformed because you showed up. Be amazing on today, my friends, my families, my foe. Be amazing on today. Shalom.